Hello everybody and welcome back to my podcast, Unwind and Knit with me. My name is Lisa and I'm coming to you from Christchurch, which is in the South Island of New Zealand. Today is Friday the 7th of October. So to all my existing viewers, welcome back. If you are new to my channel, welcome. I hope you enjoy it. If you do, please subscribe, and anybody watching, if you are enjoying my podcast, please click on the thumbs up and give it a like. That would be really good. I'd really appreciate that. So welcome to everybody. This is where I talk about my knitting, patterns that I've come across, yarn that I have, and yeah, sit back and just enjoy it. I have got quite a lot to go through today, so hopefully I can get it done. I've got new glasses and they're progressive, and I'm still trying to get used to them, so bear with me. They may come on and off a little bit. You can find me on Instagram as Unwind and Knit with me, and Facebook. We have a community page which is Unwind and Knit, so if you want to jump over there, it's a real neat little community of viewers. You can post your projects, you can ask questions. It's just a really nice little knitting space. So yeah, jump over to that community group. You will be asked to answer 3 questions and then you will be approved by a moderator. So it is sort of a closed, monitored group. So pop on over there. And thank you to everybody that has already come over to, Unwind and Knit. Also, unwindandknit.com is my online store where I have a lot of yarn and accessories. At the end of my podcast, I do a wee shop update on what's new there. I think that's all the admin stuff. I don't normally talk about the weather, but yesterday we had snow here in Christchurch, sea level, and it's the first time it's snowed here in October for more than 50 years. So that was quite exciting to see a bit of the white stuff scattered around, but it means that it is quite cold here today, especially for October. But anyway, that's our weather update. We had snow. Yay. It was all gone within a couple of hours. So what I'm wearing. So if you do follow me on social media and a Facebook group, you will know that I finished this in the last episode, and it's Kevat by Caitlin Hunter. So there's the pattern there. That's available on Ravelry. And I knitted that in YarnADelic, which is a sports weight yarn. And the colour I've done mine in, the main colour is Soul Drum. That's it there, and it's such a beautiful colour, and the contrast colour is called Confide in Me. And I have to say, this will be one of my favourite yarns, and it will be a yarn that I will go back to over and over again. It's so soft, like close to skin soft. It's beautiful to knit with. It's light and airy, a little bit drapey. It's just beautiful. Beautiful yarn. So that's YarnADelic. That comes from the UK, from the John Urban Textile Mills. So I bring that in here to New Zealand. But that's my Kevat. I will just give you a wee little look. There's a lot of lace work and there's a lot of bobbles. I'm just wearing that with a skirt, but it sits the same if I'm wearing it with jeans. The pattern is a crop. But there's, so for the crop version, you do 2 panels of this lace work, which means it would finish about here. But then you can repeat each panel to get your desired length. So I did an extra 2 panels for the length that I have. I probably could have done a third, but I'm happy with it. It kind of just sits on my waistline. And to be quite honest, I was playing yarn chicken. I did this in 2 skeins of the main colour, and I wouldn't have had enough yarn to do an extra panel. I would have had to have broken into another skein of wool. So for that reason, I'm quite happy. Yeah, so I got it done in just 2 skeins. I did the size, the 4th size 4. I don't know how many centimeters that is, but it was the 4th size. I am a fan of Caitlin Hunter. I've done a few of her short sleeve tops, and I would highly recommend it. It's never boring. Every row has you doing something. It's either the lace work or the bobbles. I had never done bobbles before, and I thought, oh, should I just skip them? But I'm so glad that I did them. I'm really, really happy with it. Love the bobbles, would do it again, and I highly recommend that pattern. I'd probably say it's for an advanced beginner. If you're comfortable with a bit of lace work, it's a breeze. You'll be able to do it. Yeah, so that's all for what I'm wearing. The next thing, I need to make a correction. So on my podcast 27, I referred to this pattern here that I want to knit. I referred to Andrea Mowry's Sprite as being her Rhinebeck sweater, and that was wrong. Her Rhinebeck sweater is Alpenglow, and I don't know how I got that mixed up. I think I watch her podcast a lot and I take a lot from them, and I just got that mixed up. So thank you to all the viewers that corrected me on that. But while I'm on that subject of the correction, that's one of Andrea's latest patterns, Sprite. And I have wound my yarn up. I'll show you my colours. I have caked the yarn. That's going to be my main colour, and this is in the 5-ply sports weight. It's sports weight. It's the YarnADelic that I just showed you that I did this one in. So that's going to be my main colour, and that's going to be my contrast colour. So I did show you that on my last podcast. The colours, just in case you are curious, that main colour, that one there, is, I actually think they say it's undyed. No. Anyway, that main colour is called Ordinary Joe. And this, I don't know what you call that, terracotta, light terracotta orangey colour, is called Wondrous Place. So there, my 2 colours for one of my next cast-ons. And the fact that I have wound it, I'll probably cast it on soon. And then instead of having 5 whips, I'll probably have 6. So, yeah, that was my correction that I wanted to make, that I referred to that as a Rhinebeck sweater when it's not a Rhinebeck sweater. I have to say, anyone that's been following me from the beginning, you'll be aware that I had a back injury that resulted in nerve damage in my right leg, and I've had a couple of back surgeries, and I'm now left with nerve damage, which is all good. Not really, but I've recently had to change one of my medications to deal with the nerve pain, and it's made me feel quite spacey. So I wanted to share that with you because I hope I'm coming across okay. I'm in the first week of this new medication, and I'm hoping the side effects wear off, but I do feel a little bit not quite myself. So yeah, that's why. Blame the meds, blame the medication. So I'll just have a drink. And I'm actually drinking hot chocolate. This isn't coffee, because coffee's making me real jittery, because I can normally have 2 cups of coffee before lunch and I'm fine, but I've only had 1 and I do feel quite jittery, but I know it's the medication, so I'm on hot chocolate. Okay. Lucky I write everything down and have a list, or else I'd be all over the place. The next thing, to celebrate, here we go, to celebrate Shetland Wool Week, I wanted to celebrate that because I carry all the Jamieson and Smith, which is Shetland wool. So I wanted to celebrate Shetland Wool Week, and I put together a couple of mystery packs of yarn to do these beanies. And in the last podcast, we had 2 winners, and on this podcast, I've got another 2 winners. And that was done through hashtag Shetland. If you did that on my the community Facebook page or on YouTube comments, I put you into the draw and I did a random selection. So I have 2 more mystery packs to give away. There they are there. And I will announce the winners later on. I could announce them now, couldn't I? I'll do it later on because my bit of paper's over there on my desk. So I'll put that away. I really do feel quite spacey. I really hope I'm not coming across that way, but bear with me. The other thing I wanted to talk about before I get into my knitting is gauge. A lot of people ask me about gauge, like, oh, I want to do this pattern, but I'm not getting gauge. And I'm not an expert, and I'm really bad. I do swatch a lot, and I look at the fabric, and then I decide what size I'm going to do according to the fabric. But I know that's right, and I know it's not right, and I think I've been really lucky that I kind of just wing it and things fit. But one of my lovely viewers left a link in our Facebook community page about calculating gauge. And this is amazing, and I'm really going to start putting this into practice. So I'm going to leave the link in my show notes. It's 8 pages. I have printed it out, and it's 8 pages of how to calculate gauge. And it goes through your swatching, how to count your stitches, but then how to do the calculations so as though what you've done will fit into the pattern. And I think this is just an invaluable, is that a word? This is a really neat resource. So I should have said that at the beginning of my podcast. I leave show notes to everything I talk about. So every pattern and every yarn and anything I talk about, I leave links. So you can go to the show notes below and find all the details. But I am going to leave the link to this 8-page, I suppose you'd call it a tutorial, in-depth tutorial and information about calculating gauge for knitting. So yeah, it's a free, you can just click on the download and it's all free and you can print it out. But I think it's a really amazing tool to have, and I am going to start putting it into practice because I do swatch, but I generally just swatch to make sure that I like the fabric that I've created, and I find that anything else is just too hard. So I just, yeah, that looks good, I'll knit it. But I am going to make a real conscious effort of learning how to calculate gauge a bit better. I think I should. The next thing I'm going to talk about is, I was really excited about this. The latest Liner magazine has come out. And this is the only magazine that I do buy. I'm really lucky that one of my local yarn stores gets it in every quarter. And she sends me a message and says, Lisa, do you want one? And I always say, yes, please. And then I'm always horrified at how expensive they are. Cost a lot of money to get them into New Zealand. But I do love the magazine. I love the photos. I love the stories in it. Every now and then I get one and I think, oh, there's nothing in there that really appeals to me. But this one I want to share with you because nearly every pattern appeals to me. Like, I just think this is one of the best additions for me personally, right? Because we all have different taste, but for me personally, love this. So I thought I'd share some of the patterns with you, and it might help you decide whether you want to buy this issue or not. The first one is called Ginger. Actually, let me see. Let me go to the next page. That's it there. I don't know if you can see it, but it is a jersey and it's done in DK yarn, and I think it would be amazing in something from the Appledore, which is it's a woolly wool, and that's what she's used there. Yeah, so that really appealed to me. I love this detail down the sleeve. There's lace work on the sleeve and lace work at the front, but really liked that pattern. The other pattern I love, I probably wouldn't knit it for me. I might knit it for my daughter. It's very light and it's got fluff and it's really feminine. And that's it there. It's a little cardigan with lace work at the front. And of course I wouldn't wear it like that. My daughter might. But I thought it was just so pretty and so feminine. But she's actually done that in a cash merino and silk mohair. So that's really luxurious type yarn. So, and I wouldn't even know where to get that yarn from. But I thought it was a beautiful pattern. The next one was called Adventurous. That's it there. Once again, it's got lace, a lace panel work down the front. She's done that in Myak, baby yak, lace weight, Myak fibre. And I don't think we can get that. I don't think anyone in New Zealand stocks that. But once again, beautiful. And the last one was called Crossing Pathways. That's it there. Once again, lace work down the front. Just a really nice, relaxed jersey that I would definitely wear. And I could actually do that in YarnADelic. I had a look at the gauge. It's a 21 stitch gauge. And she's used 100% wool Vovo by Rosa Pommer. But I think I could substitute that with YarnADelic. So, yeah, that's my little rundown on the latest Liner magazine. And I've got to say, it's probably one of my favourite for the last year or so. It does come in two different colour front pages, so you may see it in the yellow, but there's another one with an orange front page. But beautiful magazine. So thank you, Liner, for bringing that one out. Oh, I had this yarn. Oh God, I feel scattery today. So that last pattern I showed you, Crossing Pathways, I have actually already chose my yarn. So I thought I'd share that with you. So this is called Bardi-Da, and I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up, but it's a dark colour with a lot of blue. It's just a beautiful dark yarn, but in the light it shows bits of bright blue. It's just beautiful. So that's the yarn I've chose for that Crossing Pathways. But it is down my list. But the magazine was just too good to not share with you. So I hope you enjoyed seeing that. Okay. I do have two FOs today, albeit one of them small, but they are FOs. The other one I haven't quite finished casting off, but I would consider it an FO. But the first one I'm going to share with you. In my last podcast, I mentioned that I may be going to Europe in November, and that's now all been finalised, and I'm off to Europe, and I'm going to Belgium and Austria. I am going to go to Amsterdam and pop into Stephen and Penelope's shop, but I'll talk more about that later. But it's going to be cold, and anyone that knows me knows that I don't really do cold well. I don't like the cold. But the positive side to that is that we're going to be there in Belgium and Austria when the week that they start their Christmas markets. And it's always been something that I've wanted to do, is go to Europe and see the Christmas markets. So I'm quite excited about that. But I am planning what I'm going to take and what I'm going to wear to stay warm, because it is going to be wet. I think there's 25% chance of snow. And I know that I have to wear footwear that is going to keep my feet dry. And yeah, just there's a bit of planning going on. So I've been through some of my knits. Now, I knitted this about a year ago, and it's a beret. Don't know how that looks. But I am going to take this. I have actually got two of them. Now, I knitted this from the Shetland Trader by Gudrun Johnston. And the beret that I knitted, that's it there. I'll show you another photo. It's called S'mora. Better picture. That's it there. And this beret is available on Ravelry. And there's my other one. It's got different colours in it. This is more of a lightweight fingering yarn that I did that one in. This one I think I'll take. I think it will be a wee bit warmer. I did this in a sports weight yarn. I did this in Southlander Sport, which is available here in New Zealand from Skeins. But you could really you could stash bus for this, like serious. But I love it. And I did it in a weekend. It looks big and complicated, but you just follow the graph and it wasn't that hard. But so they're my two berets that I'm going to take. And I really like berets because they don't flatten. You don't end up with hat hair. I've decided that when I wear beanies, I take them off and my hair looks terrible. So that's why I'm going to go with my berets, and I'm going to take them with me. My other finished object is this wee Sophie Scarf. Now, a friend of mine brought this to my attention, and it goes like this. I hope I'm doing this okay. But this is a wee little scarf. Oh, there goes one of my earpods. So it's a wee little scarf that just wraps around your neck. I don't do polar necks well. They annoy me. But I just love this. She showed me hers, and I thought this would be perfect for travel in because it's small and lightweight. And if I do get hot, it's not going to take up a lot of room in my carry bag when we're out shopping and out at the markets. So I knitted this literally in 2 nights. And you just start at one end and you increase on one side all the way up. It's got I-cord edging and the rest is garter stitch. Super, super easy. The increase is just knit into the front, knit into the back. There's the pattern there. It's Petite knits, and it's called the Sophie Scarf, and it's available on Ravelry. And you can do it in fingering weight. I've done mine in DK, and you can do a shorter version that you just wrap around once. I've done the longer version, which wraps around twice. And I just love it. I just think it's amazing. And I think I will get a real lot of wear out of that over in Europe. The wool I used, I got from my local yarn store, and it's called Chaska. It's it there. And I've wanted to use this because it's 100% baby alpaca, and I think alpaca can be quite drapey, which is perfect for a shawl, and it's really soft, close to my skin. And I used 72 grams. If you did the small one, you could get away doing it in one ball, but I did have to take 22 grams, I think, out of the second ball, and I did it on 4mm needles. You can, like I said, do it in fingering weight yarn. I mean, the pattern is so simple that it's really adaptable. And because it was so quick to knit up, like I said, I just knitted it in 2 nights watching TV. I think it would be really good gift knitting. We're coming up to Christmas, and like, I know our Christmas over here is summer, but if you're in the other side of the world where you're going into winter, this would be ideal for gift knitting. But even here, you gift it for somebody for next winter. So that is my FO, and I love it, and really grateful to my friend that pointed it out to me. I think it's quite new. I think it's only been released recently. I hope I've got that right. But yeah, really lovely pattern. And also, if you're feeling a bit adventurous and you love berets, you could try the S'more beret. I did cast on a Petite Knits, I showed it in my last podcast, beanie, and the name escapes me. It will come to me. I have cast it on, but I've decided, like I said, I really don't want a beanie because you're in and out all the time and you've got to take it off. I think the berets are a better option for me. So that's my first FO. Right, now I'm going to go into my whips. My first whip, I think I posted some of my progress from this on Facebook, but I am still working on the Winter Beach Cardi by Andrea Mowry. It's it there. Now, I've got this in one of my leather project bags. I'll talk about them at the end of the podcast. But this is actually called the project bag with the drawstring top. And it's so big it holds everything. That's my notions pouch, which is quite big. It's just a pencil case that I got at a local bookshop. But my notion pouches are quite big. And I have my project, and I also have another 4 skeins of yarn in here. Like, this holds heaps. Like, seriously, this would hold, well, it is holding a full jersey's worth. So, oh, I should have taken the pins out. I have got to the stage where I've divided for the left front and the right front, because it is a cardigan. And I am so pleased. So pleased with it. So at the moment I'm just knitting on those stitches for the right front. I've also put lifelines in there for the pockets. There's a pocket on each side. And I really want to make progress on it. Loving the yarn, loving the patterns. It's not a hard pattern. There's a lot of cable, and once again, as long as you read your graph, it's really not that hard. But that's it there. The yarn is just stunning. This is done in the Appledore DK in the colour Quench, and it almost looks pearlescent. It's a really pretty colour, and in different light it sort of throws different colours. But yeah, really happy with it. I know that some of my viewers are knitting this. So yeah, if you are, jump onto our community page and show us some photos, because I'd love to see other people's projects. It'll be really exciting. I have, what notes? That's right. So I've been doing, which I'll talk about soon, some shawls. And I've gotten really confident with the I-cord edge, and I love it. I think it's the most beautiful finish. And I'm wondering, it's too late now because I wasn't going to start again, but I got halfway through this and I thought, oh, this would be really good to do an I-cord edge. So the edge that we've got on it is a very neat edge. So at the beginning of each row, you slip your stitch, which does create, I don't know if you can see it there, it does create quite a nice edge. But I think if I was going to knit this again, that I'd actually do an I-cord edge on both sides. Just a thought. Just a thought. Yeah, and the other thing I was thinking of, and I'm still undecided, with these pockets, I'm wondering if I should do a pop of colour for the inside of the pocket, and you'd only ever really see it, you know, it'd just be like a really subtle pop of colour. And I'm thinking maybe a pink, but I'm undecided. So I have done this pattern before, and I did the pocket in the same colour, so it's all very, you know, matchy. But I am actually thinking of putting a bit of colour in that pocket. But we'll see. We will see. But yeah, I do love, and these bags, it's 2 big pockets on this side and 1 big pocket on this side, and those same pockets are replicated on the inside. So awesome. So that's my large project bag, and that's my Winter Beach Cardi. Like I said, I have made a fair bit of progress since my last podcast, but I'm still quite a way off being finished. I do think I'll work on that this weekend. I'd like to get it to the stage where I'm ready to join the shoulders and start the sleeves, because then I know it will be really quickly finished. Now, let's talk about shawls. If you've been following me for a while, you probably only have to go back 6 or 8 episodes, and I've probably said, no, I don't do shawls. I've done 2 or 3. They're not my thing. But oh, how things change. I am just on this real thing about shawls at the moment, and I think we can blame Stephen West for that. Yeah, he inspires me. He's just so out there and outrageous that you can't help but be inspired. And I've been watching some of his little videos leading into his Mystery Knit Along. But anyway, so shawls. Now, this is the black project bag. So it comes in black and tan. I have, this is what I would call, it's almost an FO. So this is Dotted Rays by Stephen West. I started this a few weeks ago. Maybe about 4 weeks ago. See that there? That's it done in just 1 colour. You can stash dye for this and do multiple colours. I've chosen, I'll show you what I've chosen. So the version I've done, I had in my stash this multicoloured yarn. And I remember buying it. I bought 2 skeins of it. It just jumped out at me, not knowing what I was going to do with it. But I've done Dotted Rays with it. And here it is. So it's a multicolour yarn, and my contrast colour is black. So you can see the black where the dots are, where the eyelets are. You can see that black's my contrast colour. Through to there, and this end, that end looks really cool. So what I'm doing now is I'm casting off with an I-cord edge, which takes forever, and I did want to get it finished this morning, but I ran out of time. So it's almost an FO. But I've really enjoyed doing this. It's really good TV knitting. I think for a long time I was a bit intimidated by Stephen West shawls. Because they look so complicated. But this, if you want to dip your toes in and just try a Stephen West project, Dotted Rays, this is what I'd recommend. Like I said, you can do it all in 1 colour. You can stash dye and do multiple colours, or you can do 1 colour with a contrast colour. But it's really easy TV knitting, and I've really loved it. I don't know if I'm going to keep it for me or whether I'm going to gift it. I think I am going to gift it. But I've had a ball. I've really enjoyed knitting that. And the one I did before that, I've showed you before, but I'm leading somewhere, was Pure Joy by Locatelli. Now, I did this one before the Stephen West, and this is another one that I highly recommend. And I just did this in 2 colours. I've done that in a 4-ply sock yarn. I don't know if you can see it, Exmoor sock. And I used 2 skeins of the blue and 1 skein of the terracotta. And I actually wear this quite a lot. This winter I have worn it quite a lot. I just wear it like that. But I don't need to wear it now. That's silly, Lisa. But that is Dotted Rays by Locatelli. Really nice, relaxing TV knitting. Actually, I'll show you this because I did have it on there. In my shop, I've been able to get some of these shawl cuffs. And they're just a leather band that clips together and holds your shawl in place. So if you've been looking for those shawl cuffs, I do have them on my online store. So where I was leading to with those 2 shawls, my Pure Joy and my Dotted Rays, is I'm starting to plan what I'm going to take on my overseas trip. We're going to be spending a lot of time on planes, airports and trains and train stations. So I need something to knit. So I picked this yarn out quite a while ago. These 2 colours are from the limited edition range, and it's the Devonia by John Urban Textiles. There's 3 colours, but I've chosen these 2. I don't do a lot with pink, but this colour really appeals to me. It's called Willow Herb, and the darker colour is called Beetle's Wings. The reason it's called Beetle's Wings is because in certain lights it's quite iridescent, like beetle's wings. So I have pulled these 2 colours out for myself, and I am going to cast on either the Pure Joy or another Dotted Rays as my travel knitting. That was my plan in my head. But this morning I woke up and I was thinking about, I watch Inga from Knitting Traditions, and she's on about her 3rd half and half shawl. And that was my other option. I did start one of those. It's a free pattern from Pearl Soho. And I'll get it. One moment. I have it. I knew I had it around me here somewhere. So Pearl Soho, it's a free pattern. It's called the half and half wrap or half and half shawl. Now, I did cast it on about a year ago, and I have it here. And as you can see, I didn't make much progress. So that's a dark blue, and the other colour that I was matching it with, which I do have it in my stash, was more of a, just a light beige colour, a neutral colour. So I do have that, and I pulled it out this morning, and now I'm a bit confused. So maybe I should take this and finish this, as I did start it about a year ago, and it is on the needles. That's in the small project bag, by the way. Yeah, so I'm all over the place there. I still have about a month to plan, but I tend to take longer to plan my knitting, packing for my knitting, than I do actually packing for my clothes. I find packing for my clothes really easy, but deciding what I'm going to take to knit when I travel takes a lot of planning. It's one of those things that you just want everything. You want to take everything, and you can't. And I probably will take socks, because everyone takes socks as travel knitting, but I do want to start a shawl. So they're my options: the half and half wrap, the Pure Joy, or another Dotted Rays. So that's my dilemma. it's it's a really good dilemma to have, isn't it? But yeah, what do you take when you travel? I don't think I want to take a jersey. I certainly won't take anything like my Winter Beach Cardi, because there's just too many graphs to read. But that's my dilemma. Anyway, I want to talk about the Mystery Knit-along. So that came out on Thursday the 6th. Today's Friday the 7th. But for us here in New Zealand, it arrived in my email this morning. So when I got up this morning and turned my computer on, there was my first clue. So I was super, super excited. I haven't cast it on because I was trying to cast off my dotted rays, but I will talk about it. So in my last podcast, I think I showed you the colours. No, I didn't show you the colours. I showed them on Facebook though, because I hadn't decided. So they were my 3 colours. And I sat here the other day and I wound them and I got them ready. And I swatched. Because he did call for 3.5mm needles, and this yarn that I'm using sits more at a sports weight than a fingering weight. So I thought I'm actually going to swatch on the next size up. I don't remember what it was. So I did a swatch, and I can tell you what size I did this in, because I do these little dots. You see those circles? I do yarn overs to make eyelets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3. So I did this swatch in a US 5. I can't remember what that is. I think it's a 3.5. Maybe it's a 3.75. I hate not being that organised, that I can't just tell you at the top of my head. It's a 3.75. 5 US. So that's what I swatched in. And now that I've swatched, I'm unsure. Because when I look at them like that, I love them. So there's my main, my contrast, and my accent colour. But when I did the swatch, I don't love it so much. I think it looks too masculine. So my thought process is, do I continue with these colours and just hope that I love it? And if I don't love it, then I can gift it to someone. And if I feel it does look too masculine, I can gift it to a man in my life. I don't know who, but so that's my dilemma. And the problem is, because I've already wound these 2 colours, if I don't use them, they're going to end up in my stash. And that kind of annoys me. So I do want to use them. But what I did is I pulled out these 2 colours. And my thought process is, do I replace this bottom colour with maybe the blue or the green? Or do I just stick with my original choice? That's my dilemma. And I think, because the practical side of my mind says stick with what you've chosen because you've already wound it. So I own it and I need to use it. I don't know. I actually wish I hadn't swatched because then I wouldn't be worried about that. So yeah, so that's Twist and Turns by Stephen West. It's his 2022 knit-along. This is my first mystery knit-along ever, and I'm really excited to cast it on. And I did watch the first video this morning, and it looks amazing. It looks like so much fun. And what excites me is I know that I'm going to learn new techniques. And I think when you follow his tutorials and do what he says, you gain confidence. As a knitter, you gain confidence, because like I've just done that dotted rays and I feel so confident now about I-cord edging, and I think that's what these knit-alongs offer to us, is new techniques and new ways of doing things which result in us being a more confident knitter to try new things moving on. So yeah, thank you Stephen West for your 2022 knit along. And will I cast on today? Maybe. I do have a few chores to do this afternoon, but we'll see what happens. Now, I'm going to pause because I need to gather my things for my next section. Okay, I just had to reorganize myself. I have a lot going on down here around me. I do actually do quite a lot of prep work for my podcasts, and I try to follow a schedule. So yeah, I have all my notes here and I try to work through them. So yeah, I hope it flows well. I will tell you the winners of the Shetland Wool Week mystery packs. And what I do is I write everyone's name down and I allocate a number, and then I do a random selection on my phone, from the numbers that I put in. And the winners were number 15 and number 21. And they are Samantha Coburn and Jocelyn Venenski. So I will try to contact those people via Facebook if I can. Actually, I'm not sure, because some of the entrants come from the community Facebook and some of the entrants come from the YouTube comments. But you can contact me via my webpage, which is unwindandknit.com, and there's a section there where you can email me. So if you're watching and you can email me, that will be great, and send me your address details and I'll get these mystery packs off to you. So it was Samantha Coburn, Coburn, and Jocelyn Venenski. I hope I've said that right. Congratulations, you are the two winners for the Shetland Wool Week mystery packs. Yay. I know that one of my previous winners posted their pack on Facebook, so that's really neat when you get a parcel from me. If you post it and share it with the group, it's quite inspiring. I can't wait to see what you make with it. So they're my two winners. Next, what I'm going to talk about are some new patterns that I have purchased that have caught my eye, and the yarn that I think, well, when I say I think, I'm normally 95% sure that the yarn that I've chosen for these patterns, sometimes it may change, but I'll share them with you. This one here, I think I have mentioned because a friend of mine knitted it and it looks amazing. I caught up with her recently and she was wearing it and it just looks stunning. But the pattern's called the Robin Sweater by Paula M. There's a picture of it there. And it has these like bat wing sleeves. Is that what you call them? Bat's wings? It's not a long jersey. It kind of just sat below her waist. But it had these sleeves. I loved it because it was different. You know, I do a lot of raglan style tops or top down yoke sweater tops, but this just had a real point of difference. She did do it in YarnADelic. I actually think she might have done it in this colour that I've done, my main colour of Kevat. I think she did it in this colour. But the colour I've chosen, I really want to knit with this colour, so I think it would be perfect for that pattern. But the colour is called Black Gold in the Sun, and I don't know if it's going to show up. It's black, but it's got gold. Oh, that shows it up. It does actually have gold speckles in it, and I want to knit with this. I really want to knit with this colour. It just keeps calling to me. And I think the Robin Sweater is what I'm going to do. So I'll leave the links to these patterns below. So if you see a pattern that inspires you, you can jump on the link. And at least that way you can go over to Ravelry and add it to your favourites. The next one is... it's by Nora Gone, and I think it's called Stellation, but love, love, love it. It's just got all that detail around the yoke. And I've never really done anything like that. And I just think it's a really beautiful sweater. I love the open neckline. I don't like high necklines. But that's it there. Stellation by Nora Gone. And once again, this yarn, I just was like, perfect, perfect, perfect. So it's a finger in weight yarn. There's the colour. The colour's called Willow Herb. The same colour, I mentioned that before, that I'm going to do my shawl in. But it's not a pink and it's not a mauve. It just sits there in the middle. And I just love it. And it's Devonia yarn. Now, I only have 3 of their colours. I didn't bring in the whole range. I only brought in the limited edition colours that were launched for 2022. So there's only 3 colours available. But I think I'm going to take out of my stock this colour to do this jersey. And I want to do it soon. I don't know when I'm going to do it, but it's certainly, I don't know. These things just call me, and I have to buy the patterns, and then I put the yarn with them, and I put them in a basket, and I try to make time to knit them. The next one I want to talk about, I watch Selma from Little Big Knits, and she inspires me a lot. I like her style, and I like a lot of what she knits. Now, if you have watched her podcast recently, she's been working on this jersey called Fairy Bouquet. And it's stunning. That detail on the sleeve, I just love it. And the one that Selma did is very similar. She's done it in like an undyed colour, and she's double stranded it with a mohair. So you got that beautiful fluff and the beautiful mohair. But I've decided, I've done a few things with mohair recently, and I don't want to do mohair again. So I'm not sure if this is going to work, and I am going to have to swatch, but I have picked a yarn that's very similar in colour. It's a very natural colour, and it's from my local yarn store, Juska. And it is DK, and it's 70% cotton, 30% alpaca. It's seriously soft, and I think the stitch definition of this yarn on this pattern would be really good. And I really want that lace panel down the sleeve. I really want to do it in something that's really going to highlight this, like the stitch definition. I really want it to pop, and that's why I'm thinking this yarn instead of the mohair. But what I will do, I have purchased a couple of these, and my local yarn store has done a lay-by for me, and they're holding the rest for this project. So I will swatch, and I will see, I will swatch, and I'll have a look, and I'll see if it suits. I couldn't find the words there. But yeah, so that's Fairy Bouquet, designed by Joanna Ang. I will leave the link to that pattern. And if you do want to see it finished, I'm pretty sure it was Selma's latest podcast. I don't think she's done one since. So that's Fairy Bouquet. And that's all of that. I really hope that this podcast has come across okay. I feel quite spacey. But I really wanted to podcast today. And what I want to do is I will do another podcast in a couple of weeks, but I'm not going to be able to podcast for about a month, for about 4 weeks. From about the 9th of November through to about the 10th of December, I won't be available to podcast. But the other day, I was filing away some of my patterns. So I print out all my patterns. I'm a bit old school. I knit from, when I'm knitting a pattern, I don't knit from the paper copy. I knit from my tablet and I use Knit Companion. But I'm a bit old school in the fact that I love a paper copy of everything. I don't know why. The world's changing and people don't print things anymore, but I still really love a printed copy. And I've got folders, and I was trying to put my folders in sections. There's some certain designers, and I've got a lot of patterns of those. So anyway, what I'm trying to say is when I was going through all my patterns, I have some beautiful patterns. I have a lot of patterns, some that I've knitted, some that I'd like to knit again, some that I haven't yet got to knit, but a lot of patterns that I thought I could share with you. So what I thought I might do is record a podcast talking really just about a lot of different patterns and different designers, but schedule it to go live in that month that I'm going to be away. So there's not a big gap of not podcasting. I don't know how YouTube works with all of their algorithms. I don't know why some podcasters get more views and than others. I just don't know how it works. But my understanding is that I need to be podcasting regularly. So that is my plan, is to do a podcast and schedule it for while I'm away, so there's not that big gap. And I think it will be all based around patterns. Yeah, so that's what I thought I might do. And I'm probably just waffling now, just blah, blah, blah. I've pretty well covered everything on my list. Once again, I just want to say that everything I talk about will be in links below, so you can refer to that. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please subscribe if you like the content. Share it with your friends. Give it the thumbs up and like it if you do like it, because apparently that's what helps with the algorithms for my podcast. You can follow me on Facebook and Instagram. Please jump over to the community group if that's your thing. It would be really, really nice to grow that wee little community. I do have an online store, and it's unwindandknit.com, and I will just do a quick shop update. I know that some people don't like me talking about my online store, so that's why I do it at the end. So thank you if you are going to jump ship now. Thank you for viewing, and thank you for being part of my little knitting community. And I will see you on the next podcast. But for my shop update, a couple of new things. I won't go on about the yarn because you've seen all my yarn. But a couple of things that I touched on just before are these shawl cuffs. And they're very basic. They're really just a piece of beautiful leather with a clip on them, and they hold your shawl in place. And there's two lengths. There's a shorter, I think it's 16 and 19. There's two different lengths anyway. So they are on my online store if you are wanting to get yourself a shawl cuff. But what I really wanted to show you was my bags. I've designed these and I've had them made for me. They do have my wee little logo on them. These are beautiful 100% leather, and they're handmade. And the lady that makes these literally can only make one a day. She puts a lot of time and effort into every stitch. So this is the small bucket bag. It has full pocket that side and two pockets on that side. It's got a reasonably big base. Inside is fully lined. The fabric that they use, these are made in South Africa, and this cotton is called shwe shwe. I hope I'm saying that right. And it's the traditional, it's the cotton that is used in the clothing of the Indigenous people in South Africa. The cotton clothing that they wear, this is the fabric that they use. And the pockets on the outside are replicated on the inside. So this is tan with black handle, and the other one is black with a tan handle. So that comes in two sizes. So that's the small, and then the other one's identical, but it's larger. And on my website, it's got all the measurements. So that is what we call the bucket bag. The other one that I showed before is called the Project Bag. This is a large bag. It comes in only one size, but two colours. So this one's black with a tan handle, and the other one is tan with a black handle. Once again, it's got my logo. It's got two large pockets there and one full-length pocket there. Those pockets are replicated on the inside. But what's great about this project bag is it's big. It holds lots and lots of things, and you can pull the lining out, and it has drawstring. So it does have a closure. And the reason I wanted to do this is because so many times I've gone, my project bag's been like on the back seat of the car and it's fallen over and everything falls out. Or if you're traveling, you don't want a big open bag. And that's why I wanted a closure on the big bag. So it has got that closure. And like I said, this easily holds a full, you could do a full garment worth of wool in here, your notions pouch, your pattern, it will all fit, your needles, it will all fit in one of these bags. So that's the black. And that's the tan. And the fabric on the inside is different on both colours as well. So that's the tan. It's beautiful leather. Some of the leather has wee little scars on it, but I think that's just, I mean, it's leather. So I suppose some hides have more scars than other hides do. But look, they're just beautiful, and I'm really, really happy with the way they've turned out. I have got some more coming, and like I said, they are on my website. And next year I'm going to look at doing some in actually coloured leather, like purple or orange or pink. So yeah, it's really, I'm really excited about these bags, and I do want to expand the range of my leather project bags. But yep, that's the large project bag. So that's my shop update. And like I said, I'm really excited for them. I think they're amazing. I'm really happy with them. They are an investment. The small, they're from $150 to $190, so they are an investment. But hey, Christmas is coming up. Quite often I buy my own Christmas present and I give it to my husband, and he wraps it and puts it under the tree. So I get what I want rather than them fumbling to find things for me. They always know that I want something that's yarn related or knitting related. So really good Christmas option. And now I'm just waffling again. I'm going to finish it here. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope I haven't rambled too long, and I hope I've come across clear, because in my head, like I said, there's a bit of a haze, and I'm really hoping it's going to pass. But thank you for joining me. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for giving me a thumbs up. Leave comments, join my community Facebook group, and I will see you in about 2 weeks. Thank you.